My end isn't live yet. Don't know if that matters.
I've got it working this end. Famous last
Yes.
word.
I see you're online. That's fine. And on my end, Tenebrum. We're not live yet.
Fingers crossed. Let's see.
Yeah, stream together to your channel, so browser source setting. Oh, so apparently I can just go live?
I would think so from what it's showing here.
So let's... I think I see what I need to do. I get what I need to do.
It's all good.
So I'll make a new scene. Yeah, I see what's going on.
Hiya, rocks.
So start streaming. Together. Let's put in a browser source. No, I'm not working yet, honey, I know.
There's no pressure whatsoever. It's all Gucci.
Ik hoor je wel op Mark. Maar,
You hear me on Mark's end? That's fine. Okay, that doesn't work.
I will say it's quite nice that it seems to be this software does seem, or this Twitch thing does seem to work, because I know when they first implemented guest star, it was a little bit
Dodgy?
yes, to put it politely. Hello, Corvus.
Yeah, Corvus.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that wash and cure machine, because I'm not washing these models 110% at this moment in time, so I need to get the new wash and cure. How are we doing, Corvus?
Does it work now? It seems to do something, but it's not working well yet. If you look at my end.
Yeah. Ready?
Do you need to click something so that we are... Your camera isn't showing in your on your end yet.
Is that gonna help?
Yeah, you need to enable your browser source settings there. And you need to stream on there, so if you, as you can see, I show what's in the browser, the stream together.
Oh, okay.
And you need to turn it on there. There's a browser store setting there.
Browser store setting. I am being absolutely blonde. What's going on here? Set up browser.
So you have a manage. You have a manage and a chat there, and on the manage you have browser source settings. Sorry for that, fellas and gals. We are and non-binary pals. We are working on getting this to work. So sorry for that. So you need to enable, and if this doesn't work, we'll just pop to normal streaming.
Yeah, because I am being absolutely just stupid right now, isn't it?
No, you're not. So then I think we need to look at this. It doesn't really work right now. Shall we just drop into a normal multi then?
Yeah, we'll do a normal one. We'll do a normal one, good sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop back to the normal one. So I'm going to go to the
there you go. Wait a minute,
painty.
it's popped up now.
It's popped up now. Stream together.
Oh, but if you turn that off, what did you have on that?
Yeah, this is my stream together. I'm not seeing your end.
Oh. Why are you not...
So, as you can see, the left one is me, the right one is you.
Why is this playing up so much?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at this a little bit more in depth because...
Let's just not bother right now. So
Yeah.
let's just hop back to the other one. I'm going to turn on the multi part because I have a multi browser source. I should at least.
Yeah, I have a multi one.
So where is Mr. 6 Plus? I'm gonna hop back to Discord.
Yep, same here.
I'm sorry for that, folks, but it is a bit. It's a bit meh right now.
Things happen.
So I'm gonna close the stream together. I'm gonna mute this one. I'm going to click on the 6 Plus Save one here. I'm gonna pop you up on my end, and I think you are on my end now. No, that's too small. That's the multi one.
And where's the other one?
Oh, it's locked. That's why.
Let's get your one up.
There we go. And I'll put you over. Oh my! I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I can just go put you on show off if we go bigger.
You can hide an Easter egg online for.
Not so bad, Corvus. Sorry for the technical hassle, but stuff, it happens.
It always happens, doesn't it?
It does. And here we are. Back to normal. Everything all on my end, Fee?
It looks to be all good your end.
Yeah, but also sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
You don't hear Mark. Okay, I feared as much. Hey, Barley. How are you? So let's see. Could you say something, Mark?
Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
I do see him pop up. Let's try again.
Famous last words.
Properties. Why doesn't it pop up? You're done priming Infernus?
Mark.
You hear Mark? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You can, if you can, put his volume up a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to put his volume up because he is rather soft.
Don't put it up too loud. God, you blow. Everyone will get fed up with this.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Don't you dare. So can I up your volume? Should be able to. Voice settings. I actually can't in a call.
Oh, it's when we're in the chat. Did you want to go into a chat thing? Because I do believe you...
I'll just lower my own voice so people can turn up the volume a little bit. So if you turn up your volume, okay? Because I think I'm on lower volume with you anyway, right? Chug it. I will, Sonder.
There you go. We should be all tickety-boo. Never fed up with the sound of my favourite Fruit Loop. Hello, Gus. What are you after me, lover?
Yeah, that's good.
But yes.
He did raid you.
The general consensus of this stream, just a brief overview, and then Tenebron can go into depth with it because he's very knowledgeable in this. Is I've been talking back and forth with Avatars of War, and I really like their green skin Orcs and Goblins faction. And however, I've never played them, I've never played against them, and I've never collected them. So it's kind of like, where do I go? So I really want to be able to showcase what they do, because I do believe they create some amazing product. But I just can see it from an artistic point of view and a product point of view, maybe not from a gaming point of view, where I believe the lovely Tenebrum then has that experience.
Sadly, I do. I've been in the hobby and fantasy hobby since, I think it's my 31st year now, so I should be able to. I'm just fidgeting with my setup. Sorry for that, fellas. But,
It's all good.
There we go. Because yeah, Pro Streamer Bell. I know. I've got a new camera arm, which does mean that I don't have a tripod here. So that's fine. So yeah, Avatars of War. Basically, I've been leaving at 5 minutes, arriving home late. Enjoy, Mr. Sonda. But yeah, I've been in lobby for a while, and I've also been a Patreon to the lovely folks at Avatars of War for too long. I already knew Avatars of War back in the past. For some people who might or might not know, Avatars of War was a company that used to do alternate sculpts already. Felix was a sculptor for Games Workshop themselves, even at a point. And they made physical miniatures back then. Since then, they have changed, and they did a bunch of a bunch of STLs, and basically lovely stuff. I can't say anything about it. There are some things I will say later about it, but we'll get to that. I think the general idea here is, what do they have? How do we like it? What do we see? And what could we? Are there any downsides we could see?
Yeah,
Because we are not endorsed by Avatars of War. We're not paid by Avatars of War. We don't want to be paid by anybody for this, because we're doing it for fun. Well, you know.
Being perfectly transparent, there has been no money exchanged or anything like that. I've been talking back and forth with them. I've done that little video of introducing Avatars of War on the channel, and I was very transparent on that video as well. I did waffle quite a bit, as per normal. But yes, it's just lovely, and they seem to be very lovely people to deal with. Great, like, human interaction, I think is the best way of putting it. That you chat to them and you get a reply pretty quick, and it does feel like you are being treated as a human as well, which is great. And yeah, I personally, I went over in the video, I love the grim fantasy aesthetic.
Yep, I will say they are, insofar as I'm concerned, the ones that do get the closest to the real deal, as in the Games Workshop varieties. I'm just grabbing some stuff to just compare.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Streamception in the corner, indeed.
But yeah, yes, I thought change it.
I have some stuff I can show people. I must admit, most of my old stuff I gave away at one point. I think we're going to... Hey, Sharky, good afternoon.
Afternoon, everyone.
I think the big elephant in the room is one thing, and one thing foremost. If you're just going to print them like as they are, there's one thing. They are not small.
Yeah.
This is just a normal boy. This is just a normal Savage Orc. Hey up, Jet. How are you? And in general, they're good. Good sized. You can rescale them, obviously, because they are 3D prints. I will say Avatars of War does a physical Kickstarter every now and then. I personally don't make use of that myself because I don't see a reason. I just don't see a reason for me to do so, and that's not because I don't like them, but I have a 3D printer, so why would I bother?
Yes, 100%. 100%. You've already got the 3D printing.
Exactly.
Why would you need the physical copies? But there is pros and cons to it.
Yeah. So just go. This is the somewhat newer range of. This is just a quick paint job on the somewhat newer range of Savage Orc Boys, and these are the old Black Orcs. I could grab a couple more just to compare. Where is the leader? Should be here somewhere. Let me grab him.
It leaves you in a... I cannot read that for love nor money. I do apologise, Corvus. It leaves you in a...
Enviable.
Enviable. Oh, yeah. I think, personally, sometimes it gets forgotten in the hobby a little bit.
Good luck, Belle. Good luck.
Like, why can't you go into the hobby with a little bit of, like, kid at a candy store kind of wonder and like, oh, this looks so cool. Like, it looks so cool. It's so appealing. You don't worry about the rules. I have no idea.
You're alluding to the fact that he doesn't know how it used to be. Is that what you mean, Corvus? Am I correct in that way?
Because I've read some of the literature about like greenskins and stuff like that. Funnily enough, I like my dwarves. Greenskins and dwarves. They have a bit of a history.
A little further up.
But it's all good. By all means, Tenebrum, if you want to shrink down my little bit in the corner, you're more than welcome, good sir, if it makes it easier to show off your models.
Okay, yeah, I'll just make it a little smaller for now, and then once we actually start, because we will probably start painting or doing something later on. Because obviously we do some painting sometimes.
Yeah, occasionally.
But yeah, this is the what they call nowadays Art Boys set. Basically, they're just the Black Orcs. Yeah, Corvus, I get that. Any kind of skin, that's fine.
Yeah.
But as I said, this is the newer Savage Orcs, which are already quite a bit larger compared to the old stuff. If you see, this is the head of... I would probably have to adjust the focus a little bit. This is old stuff from old Orcs, because obviously I didn't give away my models. I didn't give away my bits, because, yeah, the filled bits box is a treasure trove. So, as you can see, these are sort of detailed, sort of sculpted, sort of done. Tabi at Warta. They are sort of okayish, but if you and I'll grab something else just to compare. What is the big difference? Well, mind though, this is all 3D printed. This isn't by me. Most of it is by me. But if you compare the smoothness of this sculpt, the detailing of these sculpts, you can see that there's a difference in age. This is problem and advantage number one. Advantage number one is it's way more up to date with nowadays. The downside is if you have these and you want to add in Avatars of War stuff, you'll be struggling because you will see the difference. Is it a bad thing? It depends. You don't mix units, it's doable. If you look at, now I'll have to adjust the focus again. Scrappy! We're doing a somewhat different stream nowadays, today, with Mark. We're just chatting about Avatars of War a little bit. So I think the best way to do it is like these two together. This is scaled down. This is Avatars of War. This is scaled down to 85%.
Yeah.
So if you're scaled down to 85%, it will fit in with the old... I agree, Corvus. I agree. but it would look weird sometimes. It's not just the size; it's also the detailing. But if they were bigger, this would be weird. So I said, let's just see how it works if I scale it down to 85%. And the biggest difference is the detailing. Are these overly detailed? Yes and no. Are they as overly detailed as the new Games Workshop models? No. But as you can see, everything's a little more pronounced. Everything's just a little bit more, I'd say. So you will see a difference, although a paint job can save you there. If I put these two next to each other, and maybe I should just focus in a little bit on these two. So let's go down. If you look at these two and you'd see these two in a unit, you would really not be none the wiser.
No, you could. They would fit perfectly fine together.
Yeah. So that's what I said earlier about Avatars of War being somewhat more, Games Workshop than other releases. The downside, obviously, is I have to print every single part myself. I chose to use Notepad already. And yes, these are weird bags, but I like them. They are cheap. So there's lots and lots and lots of bits, which I all have to clean, which I all have to print. I have to set the settings. So I will say, unless you're up for 3D printing, that is a slight disadvantage. Is it a big one? I don't think so. I like 3D printing. If you have somebody, Corpus, agreed. The unified basing could work. If you don't like 3D printing, there are people who can do it for you. All in all, I'd say there are a couple of drawbacks, and those are the biggest ones. The other one I will name is that the range of Avatars of War is not yet complete. Should we just hop to the site of Avatars of War for now?
Yeah, by all means. By all means. Let's have a little look a minute. I've got their site up and ready.
Yeah, so do I. Let me just go to the show-off one. Mark will disappear for a little bit, but we will be back soon.
Everyone's like, yay!
No. So obviously, Avatars of War doesn't just do orks. If you go to Heroes and Regiments, you will see a lot of their old miniatures, because these are all physically printed. I think printed nowadays, or cast, and the downside is also Sire cast, which I don't like. But they have Beastmen, Demons, Dark Elves, Dark Gods, aka Chaos, Dwarves, Elves, Empire of Men, Golem, Ogres, Orcs and Goblins. They do focus a lot on Orcs and Goblins nowadays. Regiments, they have nothing. That wasn't their focus back in the day. If you go to 3D printed, well, then you'll see that the range is slightly smaller, I'd say.
Yes.
Let's take, for example, the Dwarves. The Dwarves have, come on, load. My mini factory seems to be having a bit of trouble last couple of days.
Yeah, my mini factory, I think because there's more and more people now going on it, I do believe they had an update saying that they are looking at improving their servers. Yeah.
But they have a couple of heroes and 2 statues, 3 statues actually. So that's basically, I could say that's nothing if you want to build an army.
Yeah.
This is also why we're focusing on, Beastman. You see a little bit more. They've released a couple of sets for that. That's fun. The newest release, they re-released our Dark Elves. It's not on here yet. That's the Patreon of this month. If you go for ogres, you wanted to create ogres, I think, right, Mark? You were thinking about it?
Yeah, the ogres are very much in a similar vein then, I believe, as the beastmen, that you do have quite a few characters, but you don't really have a way of making an army out of it.
But
They're-
they have some. They have
Yeah.
some.
They're very pretty. Very, very, very pretty.
I
And
think undead.
yeah.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
Oh yeah, they're undead, yes. I believe the undead's a lot more fleshed out, and I like
But they are
how
key units, I will say.
fleshed out.
Yeah.
I personally like how they use other races as skeletons as well, which is
Yeah,
quite a
that's-
nice aesthetic.
That's really what I like, especially with the new old world and the base increases. You could put in a couple of orc skeletons. You could put in a couple of goblin skeletons, beastmen, and just make them ragtag. As you can see, they have some diversity, but again, they only have skeleton warriors, and that's it.
Mm.
So they have a little more, but I won't say that you could make an army with this.
No.
Barbarians, again, if it would load, let's close to the rest because it might get a little bit faster. They have some, but it's mostly hero-based, which also is due to the fact that they used to have War Throne and some other things, so they were focusing on a small arena-based game.
Mm.
So this is something that people might not know about. Avatars of War, they did, as I said, they did physical releases, but they had their own arena-based game, which meant that they needed characters, not
Regiments.
units,
Yeah.
not regiments. So they lost focus on that. Is it a shame nowadays? Yes and no. It just means that you'll have to wait a little bit longer. Shall we dive into the? The demons I'll just skip because they're in the same ship.
Yeah, everyone, I think the general consensus is everyone outside of orcs and goblins go to avatars if you want unique looking characters and models and add flavor to your existing armies. 100% go there. Get your generals, get your heroes. If you are playing like Age of Sigmar and or anything like that, and you want the Anvil of Apotheosis, I believe it's called, where you make your own character, 100% go on there. I love the Barbarian, the Conan-esque ones, because it's Conan to me. Just from Painting Project, let alone go, Dark Oath for Slaves of Darkness. Why not?
Awesome.
You know.
What I will say about Orcs and Goblins, there are some doubles in here because that might be fun to show. As I said, I chose to print parts.
Mm.
And if this would actually load, I would be very grateful.
Because I would say, while you're showing off the battle-ready ones, I do have some ones here. They're not printed out great because my my cleaning setup went a little bit.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's all good. It went a little bit funny this morning, so that's why I was talking to Tenebrum before we came on. I'm getting a wash and cure machine, so they are they're printed out lovely. These ones are the ones that came out as battle ready regiments. However, the scale thing, I needed to double check what I'd done wrong.
I can tell you that their battle-ready miniatures, and it is also in their descriptions, are downsized.
So that would be your 25mm classic scale, and then this is your 32mm heroic scale we were discussing. So you can see the... So yes, 100%, like Corvus and many other people were saying, yes, you have difference in sizes and so on and so forth, but sometimes when it's like... That's a little bit on the it's each person's their own, isn't it? Each person's their own. It can be a little bit extreme, but I will say that was a battle ready orc. I love the fact he's just print, peel, done, and he's a battle ready goblin.
I was getting to exactly. And that's a battle ready goblin?
Yep, that's a battle ready goblin.
Keep them together actually for skill comparison because I think that's a big one with Avatars of War.
Yeah, I think this is one of their battle ones. I think they're slightly... This is the only... I think it's not like a sneaky goblin. But I will say the one... There you go. That may be a little bit of a better one. Possibly?
Yep.
There you go.
So
I think
they're
this
goblins.
is a champion. Yeah.
Yeah, that goblins versus the normal. This is not a battle ready one. That is a battle ready one. But that goblin size is okay. They are small humanoids.
There you go. Hopefully that gives people an idea. Yeah, that's
yeah,
better.
battle ready. Let me pop back to the other screen.
Certainly.
If did I? No, I didn't click it away, did I?
Good.
Oh, there we go. Close. Show off.
We are professionals.
Oh, we are professionals. No, we're not. But my. Okay, I'll just go back to the collection and pop it over here because it doesn't recognize the window. But yes, you have battle ready. They're slightly smaller. They're ready, and you could scale them up. Works perfectly. Scaling up is something I'll come back to in a bit. Scaling down, same difference, but they have some orc spearmen, more savage orcs, some boar riders, and wolf riders as battle ready, which means you put them in there, you get them off the printer, you take off everything, and you're done.
Yeah.
Most of their characters are like that too, but they are not resized. But I will say, for example, they have battle ready stone trolls. They are slightly smaller. Again, it works. It's not too bad. As you can see, they have 52 different objects. A lot of them, again, are characters, but they have chariots, they have wolf chariots, they have, what's it called? Not the Doomdiver alternative, which
Yes.
I will touch on in a bit. They have one of the most epic goblin heroes ever, which I just love to death. They have some, they have a shaman, they have a war boss and an iron orc on board. They have wolf riders, bosses, which you could resize and actually use as normal wolf riders because there's quite a few of them, but they have normal wolf riders. And now you're coming into the territory of just characters. Again, a lot of characters, which means one thing, they are not complete. Is Felix working on it? Yes, but Felix is one person sculpting alone, so it takes him a long time. Right, let's go back to the painting one. Well, the viewing one. So we can also see Mark on the top again.
Hello.
Which I can, again, make a little bigger.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but I like that.
But yeah,
credit's due, right?
But in all fairness, I love I keep harkening back to it. I love the grim fantasy aesthetic of them. They don't feel as childish.
They don't.
Dare I say it? Like, don't get me wrong. There's many other.
They are the nonsensicalness of orcs without becoming becoming a mockery, I would say.
Yes. Like
they fit the new Games Workshop aesthetic well. They fit the old new Games Workshop aesthetic well. I would actually argue that in some ways they are better than the. Let me just grab something. I can actually show that to you. I can compare them with some of the orc brutes, which would probably work. Because I don't have a lot of stuff here. Well,
because one of my personal little not concerns, but something that doesn't always sit well with me with, say, for example, Old World, is you've got the very old plastic models coming out, fine, but then you've got the new Forge World, say, models or new resculpts, you can see a difference in the sculpting, like a very quite clear difference.
I blatantly refuse to buy that. I blatantly refuse. But as you can see, a brute and a normal scaled black orc are the same size. If I put them next to each other, I could use them for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, 100%.
Are they different? Yes. In a bad way? No, because if you want a different looking force, why not? I will say, for Age of Sigmar, not focused on Age of Sigmar, so definitely not complete, so I wouldn't go for Age of Sigmar. But on the other hand, maybe with the new art kits, etc., there's no need. For Old World, I will say, without Avatars of War, I would not have started Old World. I would say that. You touched on something. Old models, new models.
Oh,
each other.
yes. Like that's
I
one of the
no.
biggest things that causes me to be a bit jarring from some of the old models and the new models. Avatar
Like,
seems to slot in.
let me actually grab the Warhammer side because what is the RRP for the Orc box?
Oh, so UK, it's for the battalion is £100, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, which means that for us it would be 130 euros.
Yeah,
And you see them up here instead of mark. Sorry for that.
yeah.
But you get 40 goblins. I think this is 40, this is 40 orcs and 2 chariots for 130 euros.
Yeah.
And these are all Mosaic Squeezle. These are all old models.
Yeah.
There's nothing new in there. They did do releases, but there's nothing new in there. This is even the old paint job still.
Yeah.
No repaint, no nothing.
Got it out of storage. Yeah.
Yeah. This basically just triggers me. It's not that they didn't paint them anew. It's just grabbing the molds and going back to them. And I hate it. I thoroughly hate it.
Yeah.
And then they bring out new models, and I will say, if I have to choose between that new Black Orc boss or the Avatar of War boss, I know what I'm choosing. Exactly, Corvus. I'm not buying 90s models at 2024 prices.
Yeah. Like, I will always state money is subjective for each and every person. I will always state that. But the vast majority of the time, people will have the exact same reason as Corvus has just said there, you've said there, I've said in the past. Yes, they're a business, they got bills to pay, so on and so forth, so we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But for them to have 20-plus-year-old sculpts that they are charging new sculpt prices, there doesn't seem to be an actual correlation of why they should be doing that.
Spot on.
You know, that's going down a rabbit hole.
I'm going to stop there. I agree, Squeezle, that it's lazy from the company. On the other hand, I get why they do it.
Yeah.
So there's another pitfall here. Great model, crisp looking. You can see it. It looks like a boar boy. It is a boar boy.
Mm-hmm.
Same as the other ones. They are boar boys. But what happened here? The spare snapped off. Happens with plastic too. This is not ABS-like resin. We talked about this a little before stream.
Mm-hmm.
With these models, with the detail you have in them, and the fact that they're going to be used, ABS-like resin is a must.
Yeah. Please, if you are printing anything that has sticky outy bits, it doesn't matter if it's Avatars of War or whatever, anything that you're going to play with and
Exactly.
utilize, print it out in ABS-like resin. ABS-like resin has a little bit of a spring to it. You're less likely for it to snap. You don't want to be spending all this time printing out these gorgeous models, whatever they are, and then you just flick it by accident on the tabletop, or you're painting them or whatever, and something snaps. Fair enough, if you find it and you can glue it back on and repair it, that's great. What happens if it flicks off? We all know the graveyard pit of the carpet, and you're trying to find this little bit that's flicked off and you never find it again. You know, we all know what it's like.
I did some goblins. I got some resin for free from somebody, and it turned out not to be ABS-like. But this is ABS-like. See what I can do to it?
It's got that spring to it. Yeah.
It's tough. It doesn't do anything, and it keeps its detail well.
Yeah.
Fuzzy, nice to see you too. And again, this is a character model, so it's slightly chunkier. It will be interesting to fit in. So this is slightly bigger already, but these are scaled down again, which I won't do for the old world because, as Corvus said, why should I?
Yeah. Oh yes, Corvus. That I am my store, my site. I've moved it over now to ABS like, just so it's got that little bit more of a durability. Last thing I want is someone to someone to buy. Sorry, I send it and it snaps. You know, it's what was it? Tenebrum, probably an extra few euros a bottle. For me, it's like an extra £2 a bottle for ABS.
Because I use the any cubic one,
Yeah.
for me it was €3 or €4 more.
Yeah.
So that's it. But yes, coming back to these coming parts, I didn't do bets already, so I can swap them out. I can make I can make 40 orc boys and keep them separate. They're not monopose. Some of them are partially monopose, some aren't.
Mm.
Again, for me that's an advantage because I can do the old stuff. I can do any pose. I do like the fact that they're actually not monopose, not like fake not monopose, but not monopose.
Yes.
And they are really poseable because the arms are separate, so you can move the arms. Instead of what the old Space Marines had, I can hold my bolter like this, and I'm not the same as the rest of the models.
Yeah.
I will with your with what I will say. Here we go. Yes. So let me pop off to show off for 2 seconds. Discord. Avatars of War also has a Discord. People share the stuff they made there, but also there's a chat. Part of the Patreon, also part of. I think it's open to everybody. Basically, you get a say in what you need and give feedback to what you want, what you need. He does a vote every now and then on Patreon. End of the day, he's very open and he just allows you to
Have fun.
Yeah, to have a little say. Right, back to Mark.
That's all good.
And here we are. Shall we just, since we are here, while we are talking a little, because my wife pointed out that I was rambling on a little, I feel.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It shows that you're passionate over it, or passionate due to it. I think is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, we will. We will be, both of us, because you do your dwarves.
Yes.
They do dwarves. Obviously, you do Highland miniatures, I think, your dwarves.
Yes,
Okay.
some the vast majority of my dwarves are Highland miniatures. However, I do have a few of the Avatars of War Slayers, which I'm going to be thrown in as, you know, special characters and stuff like that. And then like the a Slayer only army is from Mom Miniatures. Yeah, I think it's MOM. So that's one thing I want to say as well. If you like some of the stuff from Avatars of War, but you like stuff from someone else, as long as you you like the coherency and stuff like that, go for it. You know, why not? Like, go for a mixture of different creators. I look forward to the day when non-Scots can say Highland properly. You're talking to a Cornishman.
You're talking to a Dutch person.
Yeah, I was gonna say Highland. Hey, at least I say it's something like it that people can understand it. One moment. Let me grab my dwarf.
Talk about somebody who's passionate about the fantasy world, right, Pete? I'll just crack on with a little painting.
No worries.
I pretend to be a painting streamer.
But yeah, so as I said, the doggies are having fun now. So, Mr. Mark, that order I've just placed, I'm happy. Oh, okay. No worries, Corvus. Much appreciated. Oh, pardon me, try not to belch.
For those unaware, Mark has a print shop, which is doing okay, I think now.
Yeah, it ticks over. It's not. I'm going to be upfront and honest. It's not overly busy or anything like that.
No, but what you put out is good.
Touch wood, I haven't heard any complaints. So at this moment in time. But yeah, these are some of the dwarves from Highland Miniatures.
We pop over to showing that to people.
But yeah,
6 book save. There we go.
these ones I did print at their 100% 32mm scale. So the idea is these could go into the Fire Slayer army. But I have printed out a few of these at 87% scale for the 25mm Old Fantasy scale. And it's just, yes, it's still more of that grim fantasy aesthetic. It's still that old school, grim fantasy aesthetic that just matches up.
Sorry if you had the little one, he's apparently needs something from mum. But yeah, I think that's what I like so much about Avatars of War. They just work for the game you want to play, even if it's one-page rules.
Yeah,
it's fitting.
Yeah, whatever you want it to work for, you can make them work for it. Or if that's the correct terminology.
Yeah, I would say. Right, I'm gonna drop back to painting, so you're on a smaller screen again.
That's all good.
So what are you? Do you have something prepped to paint today, or?
So I am gonna crack on with a little bit more from relics, the ones at TT Combat. Yeah. So get a little bit more of this done, while the other half's having fun with the doggies. Bless them, the two staffies.
Did you see the last question of Corvus?
About the square and round bases.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, by all means. What I'm gonna try and do is my listings that I put up. I'll put it in the description. If you want particular bases or anything like that, please let me know. Like email me and stuff like that. So yeah, just send me a DM just to remind me, and I can sort something out.
And also, which size?
Yes, because
yeah.
I don't want to print out like 20mm bases, but you want 25s or numerous different options, isn't there?
But yes, I'm on a different time than I usually am, because normally it's my Saturday morning streams, which I, for a change, just forwent for this.
Which is much appreciated, good sir.
No, it's all good, eh? It's all good fun.
It's showing people something slightly different.
But yeah, I will fit these in with some Night Goblins from Games Workshop, since I already do have them, and I will just put them in what do you call it? In a I think it's Greenskins that I was looking at, base extender.
Oh yes. So you can use them in the game system.
I would say, if you want to supply with you have an FDM and an resin printer, right?
Yes, I do.
I think you would probably prefer to do them in FEM, right? Unless they're scenic bases.
Yes, 100%. FDM is just that little bit sturdier, I've noticed, for more accessories, shall we say.
I also will dare say unless people want you to raise your prices.
It is a bit cheaper, yes.
No, not even a bit.
Yeah, I'm putting it as
And
politely as possible.
resin tends to warp a little.
Yes, that's one thing I did notice. It likes to
No,
curl.
Mark could do that. Make an option on the page to just select the bases.
Yes, I am looking at finalising some stuff over the weekend on the site for the more regiment listings that I've got, so then people can choose. It's not as simple as it once was, because before Old World, you're like, oh, well, you're gonna have these models. They only come with this size base. Obviously, Old World has changed that a little bit. But it's not bad.
For what you call it, for Antic,
Yes.
you wouldn't supply them with normal bases anyway.
Yeah. Because you would have your what do you call them? Like
Regimental base.
Regimental base. I just wanted to call them a slab base for a sec there. Which that's what it is in all but name. But yes, it is something. I do believe the other half is fairly excited to give one-page rules Beastmen a go.
Yeah, she said yesterday.
Yeah, I double checked this morning. I was like, "Are you actually?" And she was like, "Yeah, I think painting up some cat people will be quite cool." So,
as long as you do watch some, I think it was rom-coms with her.
yeah, there's payment. But the other option was
Yeah, Spire. Spoody's everywhere. Spoody is everywhere. Oh god, Spire Dan just made it into watching rom-coms with painted up cat girls. No. Slightly different. Spire.
Yeah.
Slightly different.
Yeah. I was gonna say no. We're not going near that. Bye.
But I will say something other positive about the Avatars of War miniatures. They are also nice to paint.
Yes, I am actually looking forward to that once I finish off this little relic maiden lady here. I'm going to be painting up one of the orks.
Yep.
Just to see what they're like.
But detail-wise, you've got a patch, you've got some symbols, you've got rivets, which should be there. You've got a little, because he's the boss, a special belt. You've got a skull here, and it's not too overly detailed.
Yes.
So I would argue that it's maybe even, how can I put this? It might be more beginner friendly to start with.
Yes, I would say from first impressions it could be quite daunting because there is a lot on them, if that makes sense. But when you look closer, it isn't that daunting, is it?
I mean, character models have more.
True.
Which makes sense.
Yes, 100%. 100%. You right, sweetie? I think she can't hear me. I think she's singing in the shower or something.
No, I don't hear it, so it's good. If that's what you were thinking about.
Oh no, it was more like I just heard clanging and stuff. I was like, please say she's alright.
But who runs the print shop? That's Mark. 6 Plus Save Pete.
Saying about the print shop, I've just ordered a moment ago. I've just ordered the wash and cure machine, so that should be arriving tomorrow. So I'm going to be having some fun with that. Because don't get me wrong, making your own setup, your own wash and cure machine is they're very useful having your own cure machine, but the washing side of it, I just need to make sure it's as thorough as possible. Hello, Pete. Hello, Jet. And in all fairness, I could throw it in or place it in the wash machine and just leave it be. Can't I?
You can. That's the point, eh?
It makes it a little bit easier. I'm not going, oh my god, I've left it in there for too long or not long enough, or...
I will say, with this size miniatures in the washing cure station, which are you ordering, the Anycubic?
It was the Anycubic one. It's one of the regular size ones.
I will say, 1 minute in the cure station is enough. My friend is at a con and sending me pics and stuff. What's happening there? And I'm stuck here washing dishes. Life didn't give. No, they didn't inspire. But next time you'll be the one sending the pictures, right?
But yes, I'm quite excited to paint up a few, odd character models, odd bits and pieces.
Was it for Old World you were considering the orcs?
Sorry?
Was it for Old World you were considering the orcs, or?
Yes. So Old World, as in Old World base sizes and stuff, it will be the orcs and goblins. Just to have something a little bit different.
Out of interest, why not dwarves?
So the dwarves are my fantasy / orcs and goblins. Orcs and goblins, sorry. Fantasy / old world. Whereas then the orcs and goblins will then be more purely old world.
Yep.
I think it's the best way of putting it. The dwarves are kind of like multi usable. I was tempted with the orcs and goblins with doing Mantic, like Kings of War and stuff. However, the issue is Kings of War doesn't really have a player base near me at all. It's fair enough.
But the Old World does, right?
Yeah, but the Old World does, so it's kind of going where you got the options.
Did you already get the rules for the Old World?
So I've got the big blue main rulebook, but I haven't got the Ravening Hordes or any of those at this moment in time.
Fair enough.
So down the line, after going up to Salute and stuff with Gus and his family, I may get it then. May get it afterwards. I'm not too sure at this moment in time.
I go to Salute. Nice.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. First time actually going to a big convention. Never actually been to a full fat convention before.
I go to skill model challenge. That's basically it.
Ah, fair enough.
I mean, just to show what I'll be working on for skill model challenge is this wee lass.
Oh damn!
I'm intending her for skill model challenge. I've just started on the skin a little, just when I'm feeling it. Totally off stream because reasons.
That's going to look very pretty when it's finished.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
I know so, good sir. You know how to paint your orc skin?
I do, but I also have another one. I have a couple of other projects. I still have a dwarf bust I want to paint. I have a dwarf miniature I want to paint. So I have a lot on the plate, so to say.
I know the sentiment, good sir. I got that Slayer dwarf bust that I would like to paint at some point, but I think once I've caught up with little bits and pieces, I'll then jump onto a project like that.
Well, it doesn't help that life has been throwing some stuff at you.
Yes, it's they say it comes in threes.
Yeah, does it?
So
Feels
it's
like
always a thing.
more.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
think I'm getting sets of threes.
And this goes for everyone, including Mark. My DMs are always open and never think not to DM, because please do. If you're feeling that it's a bit much. Because I'd rather you reach out than feel crap.
Yeah, withdraw yourself and so on and so forth.
Spot on.
But yes, Mr. Tenenbaum is a lovely, lovely gentleman to have a chat with.
Yeah, sometimes, depending on mood.
When's necessary.
Hey up, Kazzy. Zelika's done. Nice. Somebody was having a celebration stream,
Oh, nice.
and I wasn't able to be there all stream, but I have been lurking there. I mean, I do. I do always feel like just saying hi, just being there for people in the community, because yeah,
Just saying
I'm
hi
here
can make
because of
someone's
the
day.
community. I am only streaming due to the community.
Yes, 100%.
Did it go well, Kaz? I'm not too bad, thank you, Kaz.
How you doing, Gaz?
We had a wee chat about Avatars of War and compared to Games Workshop and other. Thank you, honey.
I will hydrate in a moment, good sir. I will go and get a beverage.
We were talking about Avatars of War as a company and shall we say pros and cons?
Yeah. And like pros and cons with 3D printing as well, we kind of glazed over it a little bit without going down a rabbit hole. But there is genuine pros and cons to 3D printing, just in general.
The consensus between the two of us is that Avatars of War is great, but their range is not yet complete, even for orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
Even though they have quite a bit.
They got some way to go, but
They
they've made a great start to it, and they're doing amazing things along their journey.
And I will admit, I hadn't thought of Old World to play, but then at the club they started playing it instead of Ninth Age. So, thankfully, I was able to swap over easily. No, mine is truly complete. Don't know, Kaz, don't know. I mean, it's more like for use in the Old World. It's incomplete, but it is one of the more complete ones.
Yeah, if you wanted to go to one creator or one, creation to have a uniform design, they are one of the best ones for orcs and goblins. Or greenskins.
Yeah. And their sculpts are just great to combine with or replace Games Workshop without giving up on their aesthetics, without copying them, if that makes sense. Because some of you might, are you aware of a creator called Eman-G?
The name rings a bell, yes.
Eman-G did Skaven, I think Nurgle and Orcs and Goblins.
Okay.
And he did, I think it was, what's that game called again? Total War Warhammer?
Yes.
So he basically made 3D models from the game.
Oh yes, yes. They got taken down a little while ago, didn't they?
They did get taken down. So for a lot of people, that was the main go-to. I was held back a little bit, but we'll say
I wish I downloaded more before they had gone.
yeah. But on the other hand, it didn't fit in with anybody else.
True. Hello, Solo. Hello, how are we doing? I've had a wee bit of a tidy round. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well.
But yes, I'm just working on some greenskin with my good old trusted recipe, because I did the rest in this model, in the rest of my models in this. So I should do it in this.
If you know it works, yeah.
Yeah, it is also not a, I will say, not a high grade job, but it's good enough. In the end, it is army painting.
It is quite surprising when you start seeing people's artwork, because funnily enough, some of you may know I work for Troll Trader, and you see a lot of like army like paint schemes come in, stuff like that, and obviously people spend X amount of time on their models, and it's quite interesting to see the differences in what people do, and it's quite stark when you see like the same armies beside each other, or the same factions, but obviously painted by completely different people. And it's quite an interesting thing, just seeing it going, wait a minute, these are the exact same faction, faction X, but it's been painted by multiple different people. And let alone if they're the same sub-faction in that faction. Just the differences. And it's quite nice.
But yeah, it's I mean, obviously, compared to a lot of people, I get told I put in a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it feels like I don't put in enough.
Yes. Your biggest critic is always going to be yourself.
It is.
Always yourself.
It is.
Like, I critique myself very heavily on my painting, like really heavily.
Yep.
And
Yep,
people are like, oh.
Talk about 3D printing lines, or rather, Geargod's Mech Shop. I assume you are aware of Geargod? Or not?
Yeah. The name, yes.
Geargod is a rather well-known 40k orc producer.
Oh, okay.
As in, Mike had a war boss made by them. I think it was just a war boss. But they have a really large line, and I think it started just because Geargod wanted some unique orcs.
That's a great way of doing it. I think there was
passion. Yeah, go on.
Oh no, I was going to say I know of a creator out there who creates Tau proxies, and and their story was they wanted customization bits for their Tau, but they weren't out there, so they created their own. It's amazing when people do stuff like that.
I think it's kind of how you started with it, right, Geargod? If you're still here. Oh, sorry, you're checking me.
More or less, yeah.
Hmm? Yeah, more or less, yep. Hey up, Solo. I am painting on cam, yes.
And you always keep experimenting when it comes to painting. It's like I'm still learning how to do like leathers and stippling more and fabrics and stuff. You always keep learning.
Never stop learning. I've, as I said, I've painted for 31 years, and now I'm just doing a quicker paint job. But I will also say that much of the 31 years I was just doing the same trick without getting better.
Yeah, there's a significant difference with painting, but then just doing the same old, same old.
Exactly.
You don't progress. You just.
I was hiding behind the avatar. Blue mail. I will just move a little sideways. Better, Solo? Wasn't happy with the game structure, or we're looking more and more weedy, and yeah. Spot on, Gear God. I will move a little for you, Solo. I hadn't figured out I was behind the avatar. Sorry for that. I am testing out a new camera arm.
Yeah, no,
Because I needed
100%
to move.
Corvus. You're testing out with your new arm then.
Yep.
How are you finding it then with the slightly different, newer setup then?
Well, it's more or less the same. It's more that I don't have a huge tripod in front of me.
Ah, no, that's yeah. So it's not so encumbersome.
Yes. And less chaos on my desk, I will say. Well,
the doggies are out in the garden playing with Kelly. She's cleaning out the animals. She's cleaning out the guinea wigs.
But slowly but surely, I'm building up the screen. I'm gonna add in my greenskins are slightly paler than most people's. I'm not too fond personally of the plastic greenskin look.
Dare I say you wanted to look a bit more realistic?
I like it when there are actually skin tones on the skin, yes.
But yes, Corvus, 100%. Like, you can start from, like, ground zero whenever you are in your life. Wherever you are in your journey, you can start at some point.
Exactly.
It just happens.
And yeah, I mean, I can relate to Gear Gods that not liking much of the current direction some of these stuff is going on. I mean, obviously the old world, we talked about that earlier, the old and new together. I can print these out a little bigger. I can make them a little bulkier. And I can paint my fantasy creatures the way I want to. Not sure you missed anything, Kaz. Just me and Mark blathering on, I suppose. I think that sums it up, right?
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
What's the thing you were looking forward the most with Old World? I mean, you didn't ever played fantasy? I did. Mr. Mark?
With me for Old World and stuff like that, I'm not 100% sure. My thing is I'm very much I love having a story behind my games. I love having some form of, even if it's made up in my head, me and my opponent just make up this scenario of something being besieged or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to be able to do with the old world and other games like that. It's being able to be like, oh, my dwarves are now came back, such as Slayer here. Let's recreate Battle for Skull Pass. That's why I'm doing that series on YouTube. And bits and pieces like that, just being able to recreate them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think sometimes people may get a little bit fixated on the rules potentially, and it's like, well, what was this all designed for in the first place? To allow people to play with their toy soldiers, to recreate fights, to recreate battles.
Have fun.
Yeah. And sometimes I think people do forget that's how it was created. Obviously to do military exercises way back when, but it being turned into a game was the whole point. It was turned into a game. And that's what that's personally what I'm more intrigued about.
Fair enough.
Yourself?
I think it's a Redling princess. I don't know what the race is, Ea Packaton. I don't know what the race is in Relic they're called.
The Ridan.
The Redan.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm painting now is a Ridan maiden, I believe. Maiden or damsel.
But I've already decided that I will use my old Games Workshop Savage Orcs as normal, quote unquote orcs, as in normal sized orcs. But there's a thing called Biggins, which
Okay.
costs extra. So the size difference will also be allowable. Hey, Rebecca, doing alright yourself? But how familiar are you with orcs?
Somewhat.
In lore?
The very basics of it.
Do you know what happens to an orc who doesn't lose fighting?
They keep growing and growing, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Biggins are?
They're the big boys.
They didn't lose a lot. So I'm giving my Biggins 2 weapons because obviously I think they are rowdy. They love kicking rear end. They came here to chew bubblegum and kick rear end, and bubblegum hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, bubblegum was a what is bubblegum? That's what they're thinking.
You still try to keep an eye on me, Kaz, that's fair. So, what I do with Greenskin, there's a lot of ways to go around it, but shading green can be done in a lot of ways. I happen to like to just put in a little bit of purple in a filter glaze, because as you can obviously see, my green, for example, on these boys isn't as bright, isn't as... Yep, you get what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, Kaz, I agree that they could have refreshed the entire range, but they didn't. So here we are. 3D printing, and 3D printer goes brrr.
3D printer goes brrr, 100%.
So I'm taking the green and I'm glazing over the green, which will turn it even more into an olive. Which is also why I don't choose to paint in an olive color.
Because you
Is it a 100% glaze? Yes and no. Because you won't see the biggest difference until I've done a couple of layers of it. Could I have gone a little bit thinner? Yes, which I will do for the high-end skin when I do it. Do you have to do it the same way I do? No, they're your fantasy miniatures. I'm just telling what I do. So if you do like it, you can try it in a fashion of your own.
Yeah, give it a go. Give it a go. It's all experimenting.
It is.
It's all just pure experimentation. Like a little thing that I do, if I ever get stressed out about something, whatever it might be, one little thing I like doing is watching Bob Ross doing his painting and stuff like that. Because it's just, to him, he knows the process, but he keeps experimenting with it, and he just goes, oh, it's a happy little accident, and he just goes with it. Just give it a go.
But Bob Ross is... Yeah, Bob Ross is Bob Ross. I think people underestimate how much you can learn just by watching 2D artists have fun with their stuff.
Yep. And also you can just learn organically by just going, oh, they gave that a go, let's give it a go. Oh, wait a minute, that worked.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Out of peak interests, what is your planning for today? Till what time would you be comfortable to go? I don't know what you've agreed on with Kelly.
Is whenever I'm not too fussed. If you want to go on for another, say, half hour, it's completely up to you, good sir.
No, I'm good for a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And all good.
It's more like I'm not in a rush. I think we're probably doing a sneaky takeout today.
Fair enough.
Not
good
sure
sir.
yet. We'll see what we do with dinner.
Well, I also need to let the significant other clean out her guinea pigs, sorry. And then we're going to sit down, hopefully have a game of one-page rules, make sure she is comfortable with it, and then I'll go out and or not go out, but go online and purchase some of the Beastman files.
Yeah, I do think that if you're not part of the Patreon, it's very expensive.
Yes, yeah, I would 100% join the Patreon, even if you just want it for a few army bundles. Because what was it? I think the Patreon's like £7 or £8, but you get 50% off discount code. So
Yeah, because it's 88. No, sleep well, Hecka. Sleep well.
You sleep well, good sir. But yeah, you make your money back. If you were buying the odd one or two models, then there's no point. But if you're buying like an army bundle or bundles, yeah, get the Patreon.
Let's talk alternatives to Avatar of War for orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any? I think the only one is Highland Miniatures, maybe.
Highland Miniatures is one that they've started doing recently. Started really expanding it. In conjunction with like Old Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I think Titan Forge did do some, but Titan Forge are quite different because they really like to make their designs quite unique and different. So their orcs and goblins wouldn't be the same.
Don't like their orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
They have awesome miniatures, but I don't like the orcs and goblins.
Yeah. And I presume what doesn't help is that orcs and goblins are quite different.
If you want to fit in the odd Games Workshop model, that would be a no-go.
Yeah. They're 100%. They like to go outside of the norm. Their dark elves, very different. They're mummified undead, really quite different. You know, pirate ogres. They're like Louisiana kind of style voodoo ones. They're very cool, very nice, very pretty, well designed, but you couldn't just integrate them into an existing force because they are so unique and different.
I think they would fit one-page rules and or Mantic a little better.
Yes, 100%. I do know alternates as well for orcs and goblins. That is an ever-growing range. Is Max Mini. I do know for a fact. They would work very well, fitting it into a Games Workshop or Mantic force. That would be a really nice option.
Yeah, but they're very limited at the moment, I feel, right?
Yes, very true. They're kind of in. They've got a lot of your rank and file models, you know, the mass models you'd want, but they are lacking in the more nuanced models.
I
They
will
don't
say
have
for
all the trolls.
the giants,
Hmm.
if you need giants with orcs and goblins, they are quite nice, I would say.
Yeah. Pardon me?
You're pardoned. How is the old stomach?
It's a lot better. It's still flaring up from time to time, but it is an awful lot better than it was. Thank you. An awful lot better. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get rid of it. It's something I've just got to learn to live with. It is a bit frustrating, don't get me wrong. But
What is the end diagnosis?
it is sensitivity to grease and hyper, like, it's primarily grease, but there seems to be a sensitivity to things being like hyper processed. But if it's like wholesome food, even if there is some form of grease in it, I'm fine. For example, like a cottage pie, shepherd's pie, things like that, a roast, touch wood, I'm absolutely fine. But if I make my own pizza, as in I've tried using it, which is quite clever, like a naan bread, or one of those kind of like pita breads kind of things, those big ones. Put my own sauce on it and meats and so on and so forth. I'm absolutely fine. But then if I buy a manufactured one, no.
Yeah, I can't either, but that's a different reason for us, obviously.
Yes. But other than that, touch wood, at least I now know if I go out and have a meal with the other half or friends or something like that, at least I know what I can look at. I'm kind of be like, oh, I can have this, I can have that.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that kind of boat, aren't they?
Yeah, for me it's lactose, so that's a bit different even, and so is the kiddo. I'm just happy that I already know what it is, so it's easier for me to deal with for the kiddo.
Yeah, it's just nice now knowing that if I do treat myself to something like a McDonald's breakfast, because on a Thursday I'll clock out from work, I'll pop out, anyone in my department that wants something, I'll order at the same time. And I know I'll have the McMuffin, but I know I'll have the one, I'll be sensible, I won't have anything too much with it. And yes, my stomach will be a little bit on the upsy downy, but it's perfectly manageable. Instead of going and constantly binging on stuff, it makes it a lot more palatable. Controllable, I think is the best way of putting it.
Yeah. These orcs are a little top heavy. Well, compared to the Games Workshop ones. you'll find that they are all a tad top heavy.
Yes. A little bit more muscular.
They are, I will always say they are gorilla shaped.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy.
So, Fuzzy, you're not wrong, but they all are in the end.
That's a lot of the.
Which is what I kind of like about them. But if you don't like that kind of things, then indeed this range might not be for you.
The thing is, whenever it comes to designs and sculpts and stuff like that, it's
Sorry, you're
always.
very far away from your microphone.
Oh, sorry. It's always the thing whenever it comes to alternate sculpts and designs. It's always subjective, is it not?
It is.
Always.
Yeah, but
subjective.
Eldari are lanky gits. Come on. Fuzzy says that he's a little Eldari envision. Yeah, but they are lanky gits.
Yeah.
I'm going slightly less heavy on the lighter highlights on the Black Orc boss. I don't like what some people do with them. There's the really, really dark green skin. If I were to do a darker, I would probably just go for a brown skin for the Black Orcs.
If I was gonna do it, I'd probably do it like I did the limited edition Catachan Kernel that I'd done at work that time, which is very much like a dark chocolate coloured kind of skin.
Yep.
So there's still a little hint of like a fleshy tone underneath.
Yep.
But it is given that very dark brown colour to it.
Is it only 2 weeks, Fuzzy? Could be. Fuzzy has been painting the old Space Crusade Eldar, it was, right?
Oh, nice.
He posted them on my Discord if you'd like to see them later on.
Yeah, I'll have a certain goose of a gander through that.
Well, I would say our Discord, the one we share with Fika and Jenny.
Fair enough.
We just were like, okay, we basically always chat, we basically always do stuff within our little group, so might as well just join Discords. We say we basically post the same thing in each other's Discord, so why not?
Yeah, you support one another.
Yeah, but I mean, it was also the fact that it got a bit tedious, as in, okay, so now I'm posting the same thing in 3 Discords.
Oh, yes,
the exact same thing.
Saying now. Yes.
And it doesn't matter what I'm posting, it is oftentimes in the same Discords, the same thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't disagree about stuff, so yeah, it was.
It felt like
obvious.
It felt like you were just spamming it.
Okay, fair enough. Or it is new Eldari in the Space Crusade, and the Space Crusade theme, I think, was the Allied Eldar of nowadays. I've been painting these crappy little chaos cultists, and I just couldn't motivate myself to paint them. They're such terrible sculpts. The old from a couple of years ago. And now that I'm painting other stuff like the female orc from Tiberium I showed you earlier in this,
yep,
I'm just happy. You painted Eldari Dire Avengers? Yes. Also known as the old kids from back in the day, which were the Eldar Dire Avengers and the Eldar Guardians, which are still the same.
I think that's a video that I was looking at planning to do down the line anyway, is 3D printing, Pandora's box for miniature firms. Because, not not just Games Workshop, but a lot of firms out there now, I do believe they need to start embracing 3D printing in some form, because it's now
Games
becoming
Workshop does, right?
yeah, it's now becoming so accessible.
Games Workshop prints their own stuff and then molds them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you saw the striation lines and stuff.
Yep. But they do it at a very high grade level, I will say.
Oh yeah, their grade is like 20K pixel stuff. Their stuff is.
They have printers that probably cost like tens of thousands.
Yeah.
I think, and I'll argue that companies going just 3D printed would not be okay. Not everybody wants to 3D print.
No.
And I think it's very difficult to defend your IP once your files are out there.
Very true.
I don't see Games Workshop releasing their models quickly for 3D printing.
Because they're already chasing firms out there that produce files that are either like for like copies, or ones that are very, very similar, which is a very grey area. Sometimes they do chase some firms that are like, no, these are very similar, but they are their own designs.
Yeah,
no,
they tried that with Avatars of War, but they will never succeed.
Yeah, so 100%. If it's a like for like copy, like a one-to-one copy, protect your IP, fine. That's your intellectual property, protect it. But if firms are making stuff that can be used as proxies and can add variety to the models and stuff like that, no, you cannot go after them.
No, but if you would call it like Night Lords and are specifically aiming to replace their own stuff,
then yes.
I think that's also a different discussion.
Yes, 100%.
Hey Legamoto, thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
Hello.
I thought this was cloth, but it is also.
Hello, welcome in. But yeah, it's a very difficult grey area to be in, because you can go on to the purple site, 3D Cults, and you can grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever beverage you prefer, and you can spend a long time just trolling through it and finding very similar models to stuff that you may want for your gaming systems, all very different proxies. It's very, very. It just takes time. It takes time. Like, I've got files, that are very similar to Games Workshop. I got files that are very different.
But I will argue that no matter if you disagree or agree with Games Workshop, I don't like for like copies. I will even argue that I think they are. I think the word toxic is actually what I would like to use to the hobby.
Yeah, it's a very, very, it's very subjective, I will say. Like, how do I put it? Some people use it as stick it to the man. Some people use that as their mindset of why they do it. Other people use it a little bit more grey of they can't get hold of the model that they want to use. So they use this like for like counterpart.
Yeah,
And
but then you're talking about OP models, right?
yes, yeah,
I will say that's a very dangerous grey area, but it is a grey area.
yeah. That's why when I done my recast video, that was a very
Yep.
very I even said in the video, this has been like a long time in the making because I didn't want to give people like the wrong idea, but it is very
Mm-hmm.
much each person to their own. This is just like the facts that I've came across of like statistics of what other people think. I can't suddenly turn around and go, you should do this, you should do that, because it is each to their own.
Yeah,
But
well,
this is
let's just ask chat, right? What's your idea on like for like prints? I'm not going to touch recasting because
something,
that's a topic I just don't discuss.
yeah, don't go near it.
That's a rabbit hole I'm avoiding.
Yeah, it's not worth the headache.
No.
But yeah, what do people think of like for like STL files?
So let's say you go on a site and you would be able to download the 40K, the 30K, the old world, name it, model of a choice, download it and print it. And I will say, and the creator is earning money.
Yes. So it's not a free file, it is a file that they're charging for.
The opinion on like-for-like models. So if you have a Games Workshop model, finding the exact same model as an STL, as in it's not a proxy version, it's not their own created version. No, it's maybe even a 3D scan of said model.
Yeah. The easiest way to put it is if you printed out this model, you painted it, you then put it beside the official model, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, you'd
That's
be
the
hard
easiest
to see
way.
the difference. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the easiest way. Because I will say the biggest thing is you're never going to stop it. The cat's out the bag. People are able to make it's scary how quick people are able to create it. Yeah.
Exactly. As long as it's all right for said company, I'm fine. But playing Greenskins of mod, exactly. It is basically just recasting, and that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It is the same as recasting, and you are, in fact, stealing. And okay, I'm gonna be blunt here. You are stealing from a company in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that for a lot of non-Games Workshop companies, it's even worse because they are smaller companies which actually have artists with their own IP, with their own view, which is then being stolen. You're actually stealing a specific artist's style.
Yeah. I would say the biggest problem, if it's for Games Workshop designs and miniatures and stuff like that, it's still theft for Games Workshop 100%. But you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit with what happens if it's smaller firms. They don't have potentially the income coming in to be able to deal with the lack of sales through that. You know, that is another way of looking at it. You know, you're taking away a sale from them.
Exactly.
Because I do know there's people out there that will get alternate files and stuff, alternate sculpts for like MCP. But the way they encourage it or allow it into the games is you can take them to events, you can take them to gaming events, as long as you have
The original.
the original because as long as you have the original card, because it shows that you bought the model. You're just using this alternate sculpt because you prefer it. So you've still got, you still got it.
That's it, right? I encourage alternate stuff. I encourage people making their own stuff, and if you don't want to use the range from a certain company, I mean, we talked about Mantic. Bluntly, I won't buy miniatures from Mantic because as a streamer always calls it, a streamer I kind of like and follow. I won't name him or her. They call it a crapshoot. Basically, it's like a lottery. You either get a good model or you get a terrible model, and some of the sculpts are just horrible.
Yeah, they do.
I don't like.
Suffer. Yeah.
So I won't use Mantic models, but Mantic just says we're miniature agnostic. Okay, obviously, if you're playing in our own tournaments, you won't. I think it's their rule there that you don't participate for the best painted if you're not using their models.
I believe so. That is correct, which makes sense.
Exactly. But they don't tell you you need to use our models.
Which, from a business point of view, yeah.
Yeah. But this also makes, and that's the pitfall there. You will not improve your miniature range because you're not focusing on it because it's not your main business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your view on that, because I don't think if you do that, your miniatures will ever improve.
So the biggest problem I think they've got is it feels like they are constantly living in the shadow of other firms. One of the biggest ones is Games Workshop, Kings of War. Where did Kings of War come from? Fantasy getting cold off.
Yep.
And their quality control is not great. The thing is, their sculpts and their designs that they bring out, I will say, are really quite interesting and really quite cool.
Some of them, I'll agree.
Yeah.
Some of them, I'll say not for me.
Yeah, that's completely valid. Some of them I do like, some of them I don't like. Their halfling range is quite odd, but I do like it. Like, you could be riding dogs and things like that. Fine. Their biggest problem is it just doesn't feel like they've always got a big, like, core identity, because they've now came out with, or they're coming out with, Halo Flashpoint.
Yep.
As a skirmish game, and I love Halo. I really, really enjoy Halo.
But it does feel like just following MCP, etc.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It just feels like it doesn't feel like it's them. It feels like it's one of their offshoot firms that does all this kind of stuff. Like AMG have MCP, Shatterpoint, other game systems, but they've never kind of made it that AMG has their own thing, if that makes... I don't know how to really word it. It's not like they've made their own intellectual property, whereas Mantic has made its own intellectual property, but it seems to be a lot of their popular stuff seems to be that not owned intellectual property. It seems like they're being split into multiple different directions.
Yep.
Now, I could be talking absolute nonsense, but I think that's one of their biggest core problems.
I feel Mantic is always... they're always copying somebody.
Yeah.
They're always doing what somebody else does in the market too, and it's not bad. I mean, when the old world wasn't here, it was obviously kind of easy for them to take the void left by fantasy. It's going to be very interesting how they will manage, because they had some following here in the Netherlands, but it never got big. I know it's quite big in the UK, so I'm intrigued how they will
Keep going.
manage with the coming of the old world now.
Yeah, I will say, 100%. Their older
Yeah,
models are not great at all. Their newer models are they're heading in the right direction. I will say they're heading in the right direction, but I just hope they do it fast enough that they don't miss their chance. I think it's the best way of putting it, because I think one of the biggest problems, not a lot of people really know of knight models.
Yeah.
Who do?
I wasn't going to touch them, but you are apparently.
Yeah. They are in a very difficult situation because their quality control, there's no word of a lie, their quality control was absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. To the point that you were getting other model parts in with certain models. You had huge holes in their resin casts and stuff like that, and that's one thing. But then it was the customer service in relation to that, people trying to contact them being like, I've had this problem, blah blah blah, and they were taking forever and a day to get back in contact with them. And bad news, bad experiences spread 10 times faster than good experiences.
They do.
And it's tarnished them, because there were so many people in my local area, just my local area, that played knight models, like DC and Marvel and Batman and stuff like that. But because of their quality control, for example,
they lost Marvel.
It died. It died.
Yep.
Obviously Disney being bought out. No, Marvel being bought out by Disney. Knight Models done the executive decision to kill off Marvel because they couldn't afford to pay the royalties and so on and so forth that Disney then wanted. Fine, that's a business decision. But then they jumped on to, then they had the Warner Brothers thing, so they went on to Harry Potter and so on and so forth. But they are in a different kettle of fish because their business decisions seem to be so very similar to Mantic. They seem to jump from one thing to another, and one of the latest things that really I'm quite passionate about, but I've kind of had to let it drop, they seem to have dropped the DC gaming side of it. So you've got MCP, which is growing from strength to strength for AMG, but Knight Models seem to have just dropped their DC one. They keep their Batman ticking over, but now they've jumped on to Song of Ice and Fire.
They did.
And it just feels like it's like they can't just stay the course and keep up to date with it and keep it going. And it's a shame. Because
apparently Fozzie has been hitting his treasure trove, by the way.
Ooh.
He found a 1996 Commissar, 2 Cadian officers from 3rd edition, still in good condition in his bits, piece and thingies box.
Oh, very nice.
I will say I'm slightly jealous of that.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, that's my
Knight
kind
Models
of...
is just a lost cause to me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking because I love my DC, I love my Batman, stuff like that. I do like my superheroes. I do have MCP in my cabinet behind me. But it's always came back to how well is it being supported, how well is this, how well is that, and yes, there is a following. Like, I'm part of a Batman Discord or Batman Games Discord and stuff like that. And there's some truly lovely people on there. But it's so difficult when it just feels like it's a Russian roulette of what model you're going to get or what quality you're going to get.
Yep. And then I'm not bothering.
Yeah. And that's the problem. You've then killed the enthusiasm for said models. Like, I've got a sealed box up in my drawer. I've got a sealed box of the Dark Knight Rises 2-player starter set. I've got sealed blisters of the Batmobile, multiple different crews. Touch wood, the ones that I've unsealed, they are complete. However, I don't know about the other ones.
I was looking at your MK6. Where is it? Yeah, the command for it. Yeah, here. There we go. Wondering, you're not affiliated with Avatars of War for printing, right?
I don't believe so. I could have a little word with them and have a little...
No, but I think you need a special license for that.
Ah.
So that's... If you want Mark to print you these, you'd have to get the files yourself. I will say that files are not very expensive, but I would still say get their Patreon because you get a discount code for...
Yeah.
I think it's half off also.
It's half off or 40% off. It's one of the two.
The Mark does do custom prints.
Yeah, I'm more than happy. The reason why I got rid of the vehicle option on my site was, regrettably, people were sending me files that the files were so bad, they were just corrupting on whatever I was doing. They weren't pre-supported, they weren't hollowed, and all this and all that. And it was just like, this is not worth my time or day to do it, because
you'll just say no to that order, right?
Yes, but I was just getting more and more of them, and it was just like, I just removed it just to be like, no. It was just getting a bit silly, because then some people's idea of X size model was far bigger than the constraint, and it was just like, it's not worth the headache, which is a shame. I may try and put it back onto the site down the line, but I'm keeping the custom infantry ones on there because luckily that's kind of really quite self-explanatory.
But you can also say, just like if you get files that aren't worth it, you say these aren't printable, period. I'm not taking your order.
Yes.
But Corvus, I know you didn't get an interest into AOS quite quickly because Corvus was talking about MCP and skipping it.
Yeah, I skipped MCP while the models looked interesting to paint. The price point was the first of punting. The second was no inch. Yeah, so I will 100% validate superhero skirmishes where they're paying a potential premium for those the rights of producing that content. We all know Disney can charge kind of what they like because it's Disney. They've got the weight behind it. When it comes to MCP, yes, you only need one of each model. You're not going to buy multiples, so in their mind, their business sense is, we got to charge more because we're not going to sell multiples of these to the same person. Whether people like that idea or not, it's kind of a standard business practice for skirmish-based games like that.
I will say they're close to the same price as a Games Workshop character, so...
Yes, 100%. It took me until Easter-ish, Seraphim release. Yeah, 100%. If you then find an army or a faction or something that draws you into that game, go with it. Like 100% go with it. Oh yeah, I think we can all understand the pricing, but yes, 100%. Like, I keep going back to it. It's subjective, but it can be very valid. It's like, for me, I I personally have like a grievance with Games Workshop business practices. I personally don't like them. The whole use of FOMO and things like that, it's not great. But as a business practice, it works as a business thing. Businesses do it. I look at more the law side of it and stuff like that. That's the side I try and concentrate on, the side that makes me happy. Because if you keep focusing on the doom and gloom, that's all you're going to see. Which is easier said than done. But yeah, if you find something that really gets your creative juices going, well, go with it. Enjoy it.
That's just it, right? I mean, lots of people don't like orcs.
But you love your orcs, so you go with it.
I love my orcs. I've started some Night Lords next to it, mostly for 30k. But I'm gonna, well, I got drawn into 30k, but I was like, I could use some of the 40k as Terror Corps because Night Lords were chaos before chaos existed.
Yep, not gonna deny that.
I think this is am I on camera? I am. I think this is turning out okay-ish.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm trying to get back into now, is going, I just want to play stuff or collect stuff because I like the look of it.
Well, I have a club for that, right? You don't. Your club was too competitive, if I recall.
Yeah, it like everyone's allowed their enjoyment of how they want to play their game. But the way I wanted to play it was like very narrative, very true narrative. But one thing that caught me was they've got an AOS campaign going recently, which is fine. There's an AOS campaign going recently, lovely. And it's a narrative campaign where it's set in a city, like this nexus point for the 8 different realms and stuff like that. And they've got multiple different armies. Cool. You have your general, unnamed general. They lead your force. Great. But then they're allowing in named characters. Then I find out that it's not a true slow grow, because you can then play a 500 point game, a 1000 point game, a 1500, a 2000. Like, you swap it in and out, so you can go up or down. But then you can swap out the army between games. But the only thing you keep is the general.
A bit off. And
I'm like, that just, yes. Some people said, yes, it's getting more people to play AOS. Completely valid. Completely valid. But don't say it's a narrative campaign then. Because you're not. The only thing you're narratively growing is this one character. Like, it's not a, let's start this army from 500 points and work its way up.
Fair enough.
You know, it doesn't feel quite right. But
we do. It's not a slow grow campaign because we just have a group where we just say we're all going to paint stuff, new stuff.
Yeah.
And we choose one project and just show to each other what we're painting.
And just work on it, yeah.
Without any play, because we can play with it anyway. Without any play obligation. Obviously, if you have a small force ready, we try to play against each other, but we don't do a campaign next to it.
No. Like, I am not against people playing around with the rules and stuff like that, but sometimes if you're saying it's one thing, but the system says it's something else, it's kind of doesn't quite work. Because personally, I think I would then be coming to these games going, oh, I'm slowly growing my army. Wait a minute, why is your army completely changed?
I would personally have said, indeed, like, you can go bigger already, but your 500 force stays the same.
Yeah, like you only get to add to your force, you don't get to suddenly replace it.
Unless everybody gets at the same pace.
Yeah.
You didn't type before, honey. Huh.
But that's me being perceived as a negative Nancy, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody is entitled their opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Papa. That's big.
Yep, it's huge. And it's cool.
But I do like my red versus green color scheme for my orc army. It does work. Does work quite well.
Okay, let's see how we're going to work up this skin tone. So I've got this nice red, but I need to work it up to a bit of a more of a fleshy tone, potentially.
What is the timeout? Only 3. Our time, your time 2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got brawny flesh.
I need to order me some bases. I use the Games of the Green Stuff World bases. I don't endorse Green Stuff World decisions always as a company. But hey, I like that product, same as AK, what happened in the past. I'm distancing myself from that. So if you see me using stuff on stream and the company did something which is questionable, then remember every business does that.
Yeah, no business is squeaky clean.
But I think this red armor is getting there.
Ooh, that's popping.
I need to do the rest of the skin that I forgot. But I will finish the red first. But this is basically the knob or boss or whatever you want to call this. It's not a war boss, but a unit boss.
Champion, would you say?
Yeah, it's a champion, but I think in Old World they still call it bosses.
Ah, fair enough.
Where in 40k they call it a knob.
Because it's short for noble.
It is. Aggressive red, yes. Very aggressive red. But that's how I started on my orcs. I mean, these are sort of similar. And it needs to fit in. So, let the red dry a little. Because obviously I need to add in a little yellow to make it orange for some highlights. But this what I wanted to say before I interrupted my own train of thought, it is the start of a new unit. So that means I need to think of unit fillers, because for me fantasy means using unit fillers.
Yes, 100%. That's the only shame slightly with Old World is it doesn't seem to be as incentivized, from what I can gather, to have like deep ranks. So unit fillers aren't potentially as big a thing potentially in Old World.
Yeah, I do see the units becoming slightly smaller. That's also due to the larger base size.
Yeah.
But still, if you know naming convention, Grunt Section, Lieutenant Commander, suits more gaming purposes. Yeah, I get you, Fuzzy. No, but even in a unit of 15, you could use a small filler. I mean, obviously, I'm playing orcs, so my orc unit will be 20 big, I would say.
Because luckily you have the rabble rule, I think, or something like that. for your leadership, I think.
I think I do. I'd have to check it. I don't know anymore. Let me actually grab it.
Oh.
I have it here.
What that shows is that companies offering bare plastic for inflated plastic purely encouraging the customer base. Something we should really be looking at closely. Yeah, that is very true. Yes, 100%. Kickstarters, 9 times out of 10, Kickstarters seem to be amazing value for people to get into X hobby, whether that's wargaming, whether that's role play, whatever that might be.
What to do. I do like Dungeons and Lasers, but I have no need for them. 8 to 20 as a group, depending on an army, so needs 1 sergeant, 3 groups or 1 squad. So yeah, that's about fair, right?
Yeah, that seems about right.
I have no use at all for the Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I get it when you're DMing actively. It's nice, but the cost of it is big enough for me to say it's not validated for me. I think going all in, and I know you didn't go all in, Corvus, which I will say is completely fair, but I think going all in was $500-ish.
Yeah. I will say, if you are playing with X models like on a regular basis, yeah, you spending that little bit extra money in the beginning does help you in the long run. But if you're not playing D&D, you're not using these models, well...
That's not models, it's purely scenery. It's purely...
sorry. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. If you weren't going to be using these the scenery for like role play sessions and stuff like that, it's not worth it.
It is the same value, but it is also a lot of investment for me. That's what I mean, Corpus. It's not criticizing Dungeons or Lasers or you in any way. It's more that it's great value, provided that it's something you need.
Yeah. And also, that's £500. It's still great value, yes. But I don't have £500 spare.
Even if I did, I would have spent it on other stuff.
Yeah. But not denying it is great value. Not denying the value behind
what you get. And the pre-painted stuff, partially, that's not for me. I don't do pre-painted stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not elitism or something, but I just enjoy painting it too much. And that's the sole reason I don't do it. I just enjoy painting it. So me getting pre-painted stuff is a waste of money for me, because it would take away my joy in the hobby.
Yeah, 100%. If you are a gamer who struggles with painting because of muscular problems, let's just say, or something like that, yeah, 100%. If they're giving you an option for pre-painted, that's great. Like, more power to them.
Exactly.
But yeah, I sometimes see these Kickstarters coming out where it's like, oh, the value that's coming out is like, oh, you spend £500-600, but you get like the equivalent of like £1,000 when it comes out to retail. Yes, that's still amazing value, but it's still £500-600 at the beginning. That's the problem. That's what stopped me doing the Escape from Arkham Kickstarter. It was just like, I can't warrant that kind of money.
using the wrong brush. That doesn't help. I was like, why doesn't this brush hold a tip? Oh, wait, that's my mixing brush. I also like the fact that this orc basically can't see. His helmet is
So big.
basically over his eyes.
So he's just swinging wildly.
8 orcs. I'm okay with that.
Last time I lost.
Not fair, but then
Yeah.
I would just go for the non-painted stuff that Dungeons & Lasers does already.
Yes. If they do give you a non-painted option, yes, and you have
Yeah.
the option
But if
to
I-
repaint.
If I would to get a scenery set, I would look at a non-painted scenery set. I think it's just great that they offer both. I
Yes,
think
100%.
that's the thing I'll say.
The takeaway message.
Yeah. So if I were to go DM a lot again, I would probably invest in some Dungeons and Lasers, non-pre-painted. I will say, scenery painting, it takes time, but it doesn't take as much time as people think it does. I mean, the people who know Mike Moans, good example, done it quite a lot on stream. He has showed people it's quite quick to paint scenery. It's just, yes, it does take time.
And also, a lot of the time with scenery painting, it's therapeutic. You just switch off your brain because a lot of the time you're not going uber high detail.
But Mike, for example, is a professional DM.
Yes.
So
he's
for
gonna
him,
make
if he were to get some of the pre-painted, that's a good business investment.
Yep, because he's using it for his business.
Exactly. So I'm not saying it's good, it's bad.
Just each
Yeah, you're
person's
basically
their own.
pitching your unpainted. Yeah, exactly, and that's it. It's a background. It's not the focal point. I think that's the point I'm trying to make, and that's the point you're making too.
Yeah, I think you're both going around the same point.
Yeah.
You're both circulating the same point. But yeah, I personally find painting scenery, which I wouldn't mind going back onto at some point when I'm a little bit more free of time. I just find painting scenery very relaxing. You should just switch
So do
off.
I. So what's everybody in chat up to? Are you painting yourself? Are you doing some fun stuff?
Anyone
Or are you
painted
just
scenery?
sitting here brainlessly? Anyone painting scenery? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more so in a war game, and from a war gamer point of view, scenery is the backdrop.
It's the frame, isn't it? The
Yep.
framing.
Yep.
I may start painting a little bit more scenery on the channel anyway, because I've got a bunch of MDF stuff for like superhero style games down the line.
Yeah, that's my plus. I do that on the club, so we're seriously painting. What's that? Yeah, you're not painting then, Fuzzy, right now. But then again, you did just finish your Eldar. What time are we? I think I'll go for a max till 3 your time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless you want to drop off earlier to aid Kelly with this and that.
I can't aid her with the animal cleaning. I'll get in the way.
Yep. But after that, we'll have to see what to do for dinner, because that'll be for my time.
Yep.
And we have a wee one that needs to go to bed at one point.
That's fair enough. Good sir.
Just applying laser for base colors. Yeah, around 40 minutes, yeah. That sounds about right, Kaz, yes. I think after that I've streamed long enough for today. I'm not like Mark, I'm not the 24-hour maniac.
Oh my god. I think Kelly would kill me if I done one of those again anytime soon.
It is very invasive in the end.
Yeah. Oh, funnily enough, I'm doing one Monday. How's that?
You're doing 24 on Monday?
Luckily I'm joking.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear that you were joking.
It's all good. It's all good.
Serious painting is not needed, Fozzie. As long as you're having fun, right?
That's the main part of all this, is to have fun with the gaming, with the painting, with the modelling. It's all supposed to be for... It's a luxury hobby. It's supposed to be fun.
It's a hobby, period.
Yeah.
I mean, this model will be less fun, because I have to do way more on this one, the Tiberium model. But yeah.
But yeah, roping people in to help you out on a project is a great thing to do.
It is.
Getting them to help you out, it gets the buzz going for that endeavour, whatever that might be.
That's what we do at the club, right? We have scenery days, and now we're doing them once a month. One Monday at the club, we look at scenery and we do stuff with that.
Yeah.
I just realize every time that I do my miniature scheme for my orcs, and I'm just thinking, yes, it's obvious that I'm doing World of Warcraft-like stuff. I'm grabbing a drink, be right back.
No worries. Okay. My main aim today is to actually get this lady done.
I'm back again.
Welcome back.
I was very close. But that's just it, right? I don't like doing too many multis, but sometimes it's good to get you out of a slump.
Yes.
Doing stuff together with a group or with one person can just help you, Corvus. I get where it helped you.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because it just... Sometimes you can go into autopilot, just be painting along, and because you're chatting with someone, like right now, you just
Exactly.
completely forget where you're up to. Like, not in a nasty way, you've just carried on.
But then again, once I hit the zone normally, I can also just sit there and, oh, look, it's gone.
Yes.
The more I think about the orc commandos in my pile, the more I come to a point where I think orc skin plus purple plus gold is such a wonderful Emperor's Children meme. Just do it. Just do it.
Give it a go.
Do the orcs children. Palsy. Before I do the teeth, let's paint in the tongue. It's always easier than the other way around. That's the fun part about orcs. Everybody always does it with tongue out. So I've never painted so many tongues until I started orcs. Again.
I never painted so many eyes until I painted those halflings.
Well, that's Jay's fault. Haven't heard from him in a while again. I mean, I obviously had some contact with him when he sponsored us for Christmas. But I hear very little from him, but I think he's very busy. Too busy, maybe.
Very, very busy when it comes to
everything.
When it comes to work, there's a lot of projects in the pipeline for like TT Combat and Max Mini, game systems, model releases, just an awful lot. In all fairness.
Yeah, he's not just doing the mold room anymore.
No.
I've heard from James off and on.
Sorry?
I've heard from James off and on.
Yeah, James is keeping himself busy. Really?
Yes, but I've heard from him off and on, and he seems to be doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the TT combat streams coming back anytime soon.
No, that it is I'm not going to deny it is a shame. It's just because the business has grown and it's got so busy. At this moment in time, it's just not financially viable from resources and people to bring it back anytime just yet.
I don't see it coming back, Mark, bluntly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the honest truth of the matter. It is a shame. I'm not going to deny that.
There's no activity on the Discord. There's no activity anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to keep that kind of stuff up. So unless you can just say, my artists from the painting
Community?
works hard. No, my artist from my studio artist.
Yes.
Will do everything on stream. It is going to die.
Yes, 100%.
And I think that's what happened. And it is as it is. Exactly. I think that's the point, Corvus. It was great marketing, but on the other hand, if you need the people to actually make the products, you just can't afford to.
Yeah. It's the honest truth of the matter. We got so many projects going on. I'm just needed elsewhere. You know, bodies are needed elsewhere. It's just things had to be tightened. And that was one of the things that had to be chopped off.
Yeah, Fuzzy does make a good point. He says the Rumble Slam stuff is too big for using Blood Bowl. It is definitely a bigger scale.
Yeah.
They are slightly taller than the standard Games Workshop. I mean, I have Coyote Peace here, and he's half as big as an orc, basically. In the 32 mil already. Still need to paint him. Yeah, what is the official scale of Rumble Slam? Do you know that, Mark?
I believe the official scale is meant to be 32 mil heroic scale, but it's not. It's
inconsistent.
It's not the same as like, because it's fantasy. It's kind of like well, where do you scale different things
Mhm.
compared to other orcs and goblins? So it's scaled within Rubble Slam, but it's not designed to be like, oh, let's use it in another game system. But I do believe it's supposed to be 32mm scale, heroic.
Yeah. Yeah, Fuzzy is our local Blood Bowl. Well, no, it's not. You're more of a. What was it? It wasn't Blood Bowl, but the other version of Blood Bowl, Fuzzy? Sharky! Screaming! But did you get out of today, Orc-wise, what you would want?
For me,
Or is there anything else you would want to know?
no, I think that covered an awful lot of it. I think it's going to be a slow process.
Mhm.
You know, just going like, oh, I fancy adding this into the army or that into the army. Will be a nice steady progress. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fuzzy does Blitz Bowl and Dungeon Bowl, mostly Blitz Bowl. So it's non-Games Workshop. Hi, Alan. Oh, hi. Yeah, enjoy your VR gaming, Alan. Batin.
This is quite a different color scheme, this Reden, because it goes from like a red to flesh, and then it has like orange as like highlights. So it's quite
That's fair.
it's something
does
that
look
I've
good.
never painted before. Hello, Orc. Welcome in.
Hey up, Orky. How's the wee one and the wife doing? It's looking good, Mark.
Thank you. It is quite. This is my only like pet peeve I have. It's not a pet peeve, but sometimes when I'm painting, we all paint slightly differently. We all paint our schemes differently.
We do.
And when I'm the get it painted up kind of thing, it's like I need to like mimic other people's schemes, and sometimes it's easier. Other
It is.
times.
Sharky, you should get sleep if you haven't slept. Sharky is in Australia.
Sharky, go and get some sleep. Love you being here, but get some kip.
See, I'm not the only one.
What do you mean? Telling someone off to get some sleep?
Yep.
That's me saying it politely. The other way is turn off and get some damn sleep.
I'm not sure anymore what time it is now in Australia over there, but I think it's close to being time where some people would wake up.
Yeah. If it's like that, get some kip.
It'll make me bang. Oh, Kaz is jumping in saying he might ban Shark if he doesn't go to sleep. It's a common threat for Sharky. Don't worry. No sharks were actually harmed. He's used to it by now. That's a blow, Kaz. Did it help though? And also, did you take your medicine, Sharky? We do take care of people in our community.
Gonna use a little bit of some washing, just help soften some of the
Yeah, but our styles are so vastly. You were talking about styles. Our way of painting our styles are so vastly different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
So that's what
Finn is vastly different too.
Yep.
Jay and his dry brushing is always fun.
Yep. Very true, good sir. Very, very, very true. Because I could never comfortably, without tutelage, mimic Finn's painting style. like 1-for-1, if that makes sense.
Not for one, but I could approximate it if I wanted to.
Yeah, like I could get close to it, but if I needed to do it where it's in a photo shoot for work, that you could have them side by side, I would need to have Finn to be like, oh yeah, I do this and do that. That kind of way of doing it.
Fair enough. But I think Finn also mainly focuses on the superstars, right?
Yes.
But just past 12, it's 30 past 12 midnight, so yes, he did, and he's going to sleep. Night, Sharky.
Have a good one.
So it's midnight. It was less late than I thought. But late enough. Because we need healthy Sharky. Go. I will say that this head reminds me of some of the old ogres. I think
Does
it's
have
slightly
that
out of
kind of,
focus.
yeah. It does
Not
have that
focus.
kind of aesthetic to it, I will say.
I need to work on my light positioning a little. There we go.
I do think that's her in a very good place. I'm going to do a little bit of rope work and a little bit of metallics, but I think,
Oh, she does look
minus
good,
her
yeah.
eyes, I think that's her in a good place.
Really?
I will say one of the pros for working in the business I work in, when I'm asked to paint up stuff, it allows me to paint up different things. Stops me getting bored.
Fair enough. And you're special. Thank you, Anita. Hey, Munch.
Hello, Sir Munchalot. How are you doing?
Thank you for the stretch. It was needed.
But yeah, I'm gonna shoot off in a minute anyway, because I need to start figuring out what we're gonna do for dinner. See how the other half's doing.
Fair enough. Then we'll just call it here in a bit.
Yeah. Because, like you said, you
Where
need to
would you
figure out
like
what
to
you're doing.
raid? Do you have an idea?
Do we have any options? Is there any options out there?
I mostly have in the close community, I have a gamer. We have Brush Master on, I think. Let's see. So we have a Brush Master on, and we have a Zombie Sashimi on. I think Esme is going to go off soonish. No, so Esme or Zombie Sashimi would be the two choices for me. Hey up, Cow, how are you? And thank you for the drinkies.
That is Mr. Tenebrum, Munchy. That is Mr. Tenebrum. Don't mind going into Esme or raiding into Esme. Context.
Hey, Munchie. How are you doing, Cow? How's the face? Hope you're doing all right. Right. I am, however, going to raid off together with Mark. So let's pop off to the thank you for watching then.
Yeah. I think I'm in a good place to raid on, because I'm just gonna sort out some toothy pegs and some metallics off stream.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna go on and raid off with you. I just want to thank everybody. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Yeah, you're catching the end of the stream. sorry for that. No, we did chat a little bit. I did stream a lot later, but it is in this case much a case of Mark having to do whatever he needs to do. So let's just hop off. Again, if you have any questions further about Avatars of War, don't mind to ask them, and if you just want to do whatever, just post your questions. I would definitely advise checking them out. But there are thank you, Cal. We are definitely going to jog on to Esme now. Yeah.
Have a lovely time, everyone. If you're not already following Tenebron, please do. Okay?
And same for on my side, Marcus.
But have a great one, everyone.